Well, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone, as I put on my socks. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Hi, neighbor. All right. Hi, Ann. I see an errant tail. How's everybody doing? Everybody good? Oh, hi, Geocosmic. Good to see you here. Oh, she's not going to be able. Oh, she's doing a concert. Good for her. Hi, Karen W. Hi, Sherry Clark. Sue Malik in the house. Maggie Who. Pam C8K. Hello. East Bay, California. All right, my name is Whimsy. We're going to hang out a little bit here. We're going to talk. We're going to kibitz. I should be having less coughing because gotta clear my throat. I took some Allegra D last night and it worked like a charm. So you should be having no coughing fits from me. So if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, it would be great if people could like, subscribe, and tell me if you've voted early. Tell me what state you're in. Maybe you can tell me also what you're, what you're eating. Are you eating in a restaurant? Are you eating at home? Where's my cat? Anyway, I forgot to put up the charity. Oh my. I believe, what is our charity this month? Does anybody remember? Was it World Kitchen? Sorry, folks, I'm going to have to put the charity up. I believe for the month of, October, we're doing the World Kitchen. Why am I coughing when I just took the, okay, let's see here. Okay, there it is. I got to put the charity up and then I'll announce. This is supposed to be a fundraiser, right? Oh, it was United Nations Hunger Relief Program hosted by Google. That was our charity of the month. Is that working for you guys? This is because, and it's feeding people in, people in disaster relief, Ukraine, South Florida. I apologize. It'll clear. Oh, shrimp and grits. How lovely. I think you can do, there's some really amazing vegan shrimp that taste exactly the same. There's no difference. For those of you who are vegan that want to try and do shrimp and grits vegan. Okay, so we have posted the charity. This is our charity till the end of October. It's the United Nations Hunger Relief for people in disaster, war, etc. All right. What y'all eating? We got a pot of chicken veggie soup with Maggie Who. Lovely, lovely. Oh, are you having that? Did you make that yourself, Maggie, or are you in a restaurant? Ooh, hash browns and sausage from Miss Lori. Anybody else? Oh, happy Sunday, Sherry. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do some remote viewings. I should be here for an hour or so. Oh, Greek salad. I had an Israeli chop salad last night that I made, and I put some avocado in it. And then I had falafels and tahini and pita, watermelon for dessert. I have lost Geez, almost 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Yeah. That is what happens when I go vegan. It just turns my metabolism back on, and you start aging in reverse. So I'm literally watching my BMI drop, my fat percentage, my risk of heart disease, everything has dropped. Excuse me. And my age, my true age, is decreasing. I started with a true age of 63, elevated lipids, eating a standard diet, and my protein was low because what happens with omnivores is that you think you're going to get enough protein, so you're living on typical doctor, right? I was living on tea and toast and cheese. Well, that's so when you look at my diet before I was a vegan, I actually was getting less protein and less nutrition. But now, as a vegan, working with a medical team, everything is measured. My protein's measured. I let myself have a little bit of fake meat, fake meat. Like I'll have like meatballs occasionally. The base is good, solid nutrition, and occasionally I'll throw in a vegan meatball or something like that. And so my protein actually increased quite a bit when the doctors were working with me. And now my muscle mass is increasing, my cholesterol is dropping, and my true age was 63 and it's now dropped. I've gained 2 years. I'm now 61, but my real age is 59. So I still have damage from eating junk food, right? So at this rate, though, I'll probably be at a healthy BMI in probably about 2 to 3 weeks. That's how rapidly my body's repairing. Isn't that crazy? And it was just good old-fashioned whole foods, plant-based, with an occasional thing that's processed, like a burger or something like that. Yeah, a little bit if it's made with good nutrition. Like a tempeh burger is not going to hurt you or something like that. I have a great medical team through Kaiser, actually. They have a whole program if you want to go vegan, and the physician's assistant is vegan. So, yeah, well, I have a genetic mutation, which I inherited from the Welsh side. They have a lot of heart attacks. And it was funny, when I was practicing as a doctor in LA, these people that had a hyperlipidemia would say, oh, it's genetic, so I can't be vegan. And I would think, wait a minute, I just did a class with John Hopkins saying that people with your mutation have to go vegan because you're producing too much cholesterol. But it was funny that their argument was, oh, see, I just produce too much cholesterol, so being a vegan, there's no point because I produce too much cholesterol. No, the research shows that if you produce too much cholesterol, you're at risk of a heart attack because you have hyperlipidemia, familial hyperlipidemia. Your only chance of surviving, because there's only so much a statin can do, is that you got to go on a whole foods, plant-based. You can have a little fish. I love pasta, and I've been shedding a ton of weight eating pasta because I'm getting a good 4 or 5 mile hike in a day, and I'm also working out at the gym. So yeah, it's good. All right, I want to go ahead. I think everybody's here now. I want to talk a little bit about the remote views up to this point, and I also need to grab the other thing. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to people about has to do with the fact that Xi is consolidating his power in China. Everybody remember that? And that there was a ceremony of the Communist Party where Xi was about to consolidate his power, and then who's the former head of the Communist Party, stood up and began riffing through Xi's notes and was asked to step down. Then he got up again and attempted to riff through the notes. He wanted to see what Xi was going to say in his speech. A group of 2 aides came and asked Hugh to leave. He didn't want to leave and was arguing with them, and they escorted him. Now, the official statement by the Chinese government was that he had a stomach ache and that he was escorted so that his tummy ache would feel better. Now, I'm confused, because if you've got a tummy ache, why would you need to stand up and riff through Xi's lecture notes, right? So what Hugh said to us when we went into the old communist guard, remember last week, some people can have fish, depends, which thins the blood and is high in omega-3, and it certainly would have been a diet of the early Welsh and English. They certainly would have had some marine life. But if you're doing chia and hemp and flax, and you're doing really good bioavailable proteins like I am, then so far there's no indication in my lab work that I need to do that. Anyway, so going back to the whole story. So what Hugh had said, does everybody remember what the old Chinese guard was accusing Xi of last month? And people were telling me that I was insane. By the way, HCRV practitioners, it's not their personal opinion. The goal is to not have a personal opinion. If you're having a personal opinion, then you're not able to do HCRV, because HCRV is about putting your ego aside and letting them speak through you. So what Hugh said to us, this is a direct quote from him. Actually, he talked last night. He said, we former Chinese leadership, we told you, the heads of the former head of the Communist Party, we told you in the remote that this guy sold his soul to the West. Xi has sold his soul to the West. We think he has betrayed the principles of the Communist Party. That was why he was riffing through his notes. He's trying to swindle us out of our heritage. Hugh showed me also a document which has not been made public yet, but Hugh is also saying that Xi is compromised. He's compromised by the Communist Party, and he knows it's true because his party has done an investigation on Xi, and he located accounts with money from bribes from foreign countries. And he's claiming that one of those accounts, there's $50 million in it. So that's basically Hugh's accusation, that this guy is on the take, that this guy's a con artist, that this guy's got money in accounts that the people of China don't know about, that he's robbing China blind, that he's been taking a cut from foreign investors and from foreign governments, and that if Xi is not stopped, he will destroy China. You guys want to talk about it? What do you think of the civil war in China right now? Are we seeing another communist civil war in China? I guess that's what I want to throw out to you all, given the remotes that we had last month, which rightly so baffled people, and where it is now and where the opposition is, and the fact that they're now starting to have organized protest in mainland China. You guys wanted to talk about it? So geriatric pigs. You had a bad feeling about it, but you didn't have a stomach ache. So sometimes you'll get, yeah. So I think a lot of readers will get a stomach ache, or they'll get a knot in the gut. They'll get that punched feeling in the gut. And a lot of the time that's because your third chakra, which is the gut, which is the little brain, is digesting information. And when it's digesting something that it's not too happy about, you'll know. You'll get that creepy feeling in your gut, because before your intellectual brain can analyze something, your primitive brain is already processing it and sending images to the third chakra. That's how HCRV works. So yeah, people will get into a relaxed HCRV state. They will begin to put themselves in the shoes of the other person while they're watching the news or whatnot, and their energetic body is flipping out and they're processing all kinds of things. And that's why the news can be really difficult for some people to watch. And that's why a lot of people will just step away. Well, the thing with China is that they refused to release their GDP report last week when she was speaking. So they are hiding the GDP. Now, according to the remotes, they're facing an economic collapse within the next 3.5 months. And this will have an effect on the international housing market because Chinese money is heavily invested in American real estate companies. So if American real estate companies need a bailout, it's not just the United States that's going to bail them out. It's foreign governments, foreign money. And the American people don't understand that. So what happens when foreign governments come in and their money, you find foreign money in Remax, you find foreign money in Zillow, you find foreign money here, there, and everywhere. They raise the price of real estate in the United States because they make it more competitive. They control the prices. And then what happens when China decides that they've got to start selling off foreign real estate so that they can begin to recoup the damage from everything that has fallen away by the wayside in mainland China because of what's happening with their real estate? What do you think that's going to do to our real estate market in, say, 3.5 months? Let's talk about that. Is it a collapse or this is something that a lot of people in the market talk about and people who are in real estate talk about, that we're just going to have to see what the actual price is of your house once foreign money is gone. Are these properties artificially inflated because they got bought out by foreign money? Yeah. And so then the other thing that's happening is that people bought too high. They couldn't handle the inflation. So now they have more house than they can afford. Somebody loses a job, etc. So that also, so we're also seeing foreclosures are going up. So we've got two things working against the housing market: inflation leading to higher foreclosures, and a major dump coming from China and its overseas investments in real estate. Make sense? Well, that makes sense too, what you're saying, Linda, which is that they could theoretically sell their debt or sell their real estate. Instead of just dumping everything, they could try and sell it to the Saudis or somebody else, try and do business deals so that they end up taking on some of this debt. And so we can go ahead and do a throw on that. But it helps us understand as remote viewers where Hugh was coming from, why he said what he said last month. And we're now seeing organized protest happening in China. So does that help you guys put it better together about where Hugh is coming from, why he's making these statements? What about the statement that Hugh is making in the remote view right now, that he's accusing Xi of having private bank accounts with millions and millions of dollars in them from bribes? Do you think it's true or not true? Or do you think it's just the paranoid machinations of a guy who's upset because his power has slipped away? Let's talk about that. Yeah, likely true that he took a bribe, and probably because of how HCRV works, we're looking at this coming out in the next couple of weeks, these bribe allegations. Would you agree? So this would be a good idea for those of you who are HCRV practitioners. You can go down, try and connect with Hugh, Xi, etc., and see if you can't also find information about the bribes, the extent of money, get more information on Hugh. Do you think that Hugh, here's another question for the audience, do you think that Hugh's life will be threatened or that he will be disappeared? Are they ever going to let him in that situation again, given how he behaved? I don't think so. I think he's gone. But what happened to him is another reason to, if you are a revolutionary that believes that the people are more important than anything else and that everybody is equal, if you're a pure communist, then you probably are going to be part of those protests, right? Okay, so the next thing we're talking about, and people had asked if I would please go back and talk about this because people were upset. I totally get it. So we're going to talk about it. It has to do with the fact that when we go into the remotes and we attempt to ascertain information about accusations against Donald Trump regarding January 6th, we see them building a case of defense that he suffered from very serious COVID. You know, Meadows said that he was almost intubated at one point. And that what they're basically doing is, oh my God, I can't believe you gave such intimate details about the president's disease, unless there's a reason why he did that. So the argument has been that they will use long COVID as an excuse to minimize charges because he was not in his right mind. And then we have evidence coming out this week that, in fact, his lawyers are, you guessed it, preparing an insanity defense. And there is Hugh looking extremely upset because he's not allowed to read Xi's speech. So my feeling as a remote viewer, if doing HCRV, is that when people tell you who they are, believe them. You'll save yourself a lot of unhappiness, right? Okay, so in terms of Trump becoming, that he's basically going to get off because he's so crazy he can't be tried. What do you guys think about that? Yes, geriatric brig. That is what we discussed a couple of months ago when we got into an HCRV on his daughter. And if you recall, his daughter was working on getting him off because she was basically testifying that he was insane. And by the way, that's already happened. She's already given testimony like that. So January, she's already given that testimony in subpoena. She's talked to the Justice Department. She's also given testimonies in New York, and she's also given testimony to January 6th. So this is now becoming common knowledge. It wasn't. Yeah, I think it's a legitimate. I told you guys when I heard what she had said when Ivanka talked to us, and I heard her argument. Yeah, I thought it was legit. I didn't vote for the guy, but yeah, I think it's pretty easy to see that there's no way that guy was in his right mind, whether we like him or not. Yeah. Tired of the mental illness argument? All right, I have a gift that I received from a dear fan of the channel. Thank you, N. Low. I don't know if I can read this on air. Oh my God, thank you so much. First off, I just discovered a $50. Thank you, that'll pay for the coffee. Oh, wow. She made a box of gifts for me. Oh, Philippa Gregory tapes. Oh, I love the Tudor music. Thank you how sweet of you. I will send you a card today. Thank you so much. So here are some of the beautiful things that Enlo has given the channel. Let's take a look. I'll try and wear them next week. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, why wait till next week? Oh my God, that's my color. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love it. All right. Here's a foam pocket. Oh, that's very cool. And composition notebooks, which we know the Oracle of Whimsy desperately needs those. Okay. Mila's favorite treats, irresistibles. Greenies, thank you. Hey, Mila, somebody got you some of your irresistibles. You love these. Hey, Mila, look. Thank you. Look what you got here, Mila. You gonna come get it? Irresistibles. You love those. You wiped through those last time I got those. You want to come get one? Look, Mila. Yeah? You coming to get it? Come on. Come say hi to everybody. You want to have it? You smell it because it's here. Come on. Come on. Come say hi. All right. You want it here? She loves these, by the way. Thank you. There you go. She wants to have it down there. Oh, she loves those. And then this for Mila. Look. Oh. Sticky notes, so important when I do my HCRV because it helps me. You want another one? Mila. Wow, that was fast. Here. You want another one? Oh, she whipped that down. Yeah, eat that quickly. I'll give you one more. Want one more? Here, there's one more. That's it. I don't want to give you too many. She starts crying for these and then she doesn't eat regular food. Okay, and then these, yes. Oh, I got my little toy. Is that everything? No more, Mila. That's it. No more. And then beautiful, a little kitty face. Oh, I'll put this in my kitchen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for the sweet gift. And low, this is beautiful too. Look at this. Oh my God, this one is gorgeous. Oh. Ah. Thank you, everybody, for the support of the channel. And ballpoint pen, I need that. Wow. Okay, so I think we're going to do the empath's prayer. We're going to blitz, blitz, blitz away. Oh, there's more stuff in here. Oh my God, look at this, and low. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Oh, I'll put this on the altar. Oh, is that not beautiful? Look at that. Thank you so much. Wow. Very sweet. Very, very sweet. I can't believe you sent me $50. Thank you. All right, let's do the empath's prayer. We'll go in. We'll do a community reading for you all. So you get your reading today, and that's for a week. And then after that, we're going to just blitz, blitz, blitz away. Does that work for everybody? Isn't that sweet? I just thought that was so sweet. All right. What should we do? Should we do the large universal rider weight? Should we do the medieval for your reading? Or should we do the Lena Rodriguez and Sienna Rose cards? Those are our options today. I'll let Lena's cards. Okay. First comes first serves. Last week, first time somebody had requested Lena's cards, and then somebody got angry because I had said medieval, but somebody had shouted Lena first. So I switched to Lena, and they said, Lena doesn't need you to promote her cards. I was like, okay. She gave me a gift, and the people want to see the cards. So I don't know. Some people just have reasons to, I don't know, bitch about something. Anyway, so these are great cards. I have been using them, and we'll use them for the community prayer. Let's go ahead. We'll do the empath's prayer, and then we'll go in and we'll give you your general. Then after that, when you give the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, we'll go ahead and do some blitzes as well. Sound good? All right. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. Let's go in. Let's see. Let us take a look. Yeah, why not promote others? And of course, readers want you to promote their stuff. That they give you a gift so that you'll enjoy it, but also, which is what we do here. We promote each other's channel, and that's a good thing. I support her channel. I respect her as a colleague and her integrity as a reader. So and same with Sienna Rose, highly ethical reader. So of course I'm going to promote that. I don't have a problem with that. All right. Okay. Now, if you're unethical, then I might not promote it. Okay, where we are at right now, the base of the matter for all of us is that this is a time when we are learning two things about ourselves that are really important. And the first is that you are starting to understand that you do have the strength and courage to see your life precisely as it is without any fluff or filler. This is the time in your life when you can face the truth of who you are with all your flaws and all your imperfections and say, wow, I'm a lot stronger than I realized. This is the time of you recognizing and honoring just how strong you and human beings actually are. And so we see the base of the matter for you and for I is that we recognize our strength as people, that we no longer have to make up pretty stories like we did when we were children. We now stand as adults. We can accept the reality of our lives, the reality of our current situation without the need to slip into fantasy or delusion. And the other thing is that our karma card, because the second card under the base is what we call the karma card. It's the karma that you have to go through in order to become this empowered, strong person that can stand on their own 2 feet. And they say it's as simple as being open to learning. So when you stop learning, when we become retracted in fear, well, my life is good, I don't need to change, I'm not an a-hole. You triggered my post-traumatic stress disorder with your comedy routine, Dr. Anderson. Somebody said that to me last week. Your comedy triggered my PTSD. Oh my. So what happens is that when people when we are so wounded that we literally cannot even be in the world, we can't take a joke, we cannot be in the world because we are just wrapped up in our own stuff. And so what happens is we become so retracted, we refuse to learn, we're terrified that we are less than perfect, right? So consequently, we're not able to do shadow work. We're not able to laugh at ourselves and say, I was a bit of a dick yesterday. And understand that that's forgivable and that that's okay and that we're all human beings and that's part of the human condition. So what we have now is the time of the hermit. This is somebody who has become open to examining their life and their situation in a grounded way without the need to have delusion or fluff. That would be 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is when you slip up. No, I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. That was a great speech. It was the best speech ever. It was the best conversation. I hit it out of the ballpark. I'm perfect. I'm perfect. Well, what if you're not perfect? What if you are a loser? What if you're just able to laugh at yourself and say, yeah, I done lost. Oh, but we'll try again next time. Yeah, you learn from your losses. So that's the message of the hermit. You are strong because of your ability to do the work and to do the research and to be the person that sits back and actually looks at the data without letting yourself become emotional or defensive if you happen to see something in your character that's less than perfect. Oh my God, less than perfect. Where you're at right now, a fear of poverty is over the country in a really, really big way. We see that, for example, with the charity that the United Nations hunger relief charity that we have been promoting this month. And not surprisingly, our first house is the poverty card of Five of Pentacles. People that are afraid they're going to lose their shirt, lose their home, be out in the cold. People are terrified. And we've talked also about the midterms. We've talked about how when these kinds of things happen, people can become desperate. They need to believe that what they are clinging to has some hope. And so when you're this desperate and frightened about the future, you see your Roth IRA has lost 10 to 20% of its, of your profits over the last year. People are scared. They see their retirement dwindling. They can't pay for the groceries. The mortgage is more than they can handle right now. We're facing a real fear of poverty. And then the crossing card for us right now is the situation will get better. And it will get better sooner rather than later. We can see over us the Page of Cups of healing. So this is a time of intense healing for everybody. Archangel Raphael is the archangel that historically is associated with the healing waters, etc. And so we think of pages as messengers or angels. We think of the water angel as associated with the Archangel Raphael, depending upon what your tradition is. I choose to call it Raphael because Raphael is the healer. And then we can see that is over the issue of Five of Pentacles, that the situation with our poverty will be healed and resolved. We have a beautiful Ace of Cups, again, healing waters energy moving into the fourth house. So this is energy from the heavens that's beginning to emerge. And then what we're sitting in is Page of Swords. And again, Page of Swords is a sword that has to do with cutting to the truth. It's also Malach, which is angel or spy, right? Goes to find the truth of things. It sits in our third house, which is associated with the fourth chakra or the heart. It's what we abide or sit in. So we can see in the third house, see, I used to be able to do this. Oh, maybe not. I won't be able to do it. Sorry, you guys. I wanted to show you guys this. I'll try and come up with a way that you guys can see the cards like I used to. But the new computer doesn't allow me to angle it like that. But this is the third house, the sword of truth coming in. So that's Archangel Michael. And the reason why most readers, again, angel means messenger, and pages of swords bring messages, and so they're associated with the archangels. And the reason that most readers choose Page of Swords to be Archangel Michael is because Michael is associated with divine truth, irrefutable truth. It's accepting things as they truly are. And Archangel Michael is known to carry the sword of truth, and he takes on the devilish forces, liars, gaslighting, untruth, and he, with the sword of truth, he takes on and wins from the devil. And so the strength of Page of Swords or Archangel Michael is that he is an archetype where he cuts to the truth of things without any kind of BS. I would say the majority of the people here are under the influence of divine passion. Queen of Wands. We talked about Bob Marley being married to a Queen of Wands, that kind of individual that feels compelled to act. The passion, the righteousness, the passion of righteousness. Somebody who, when they see others being victimized, has a moral responsibility to stand up and stir it up, and to be supported when they do so by their tribe, their community, because they're ultimately fighting the good fight. And so you can see us now entering into the time of the Queen of Wands, the archetype that stirs things up, that fights the good fight, and she's there to make you uncomfortable. She wants you uncomfortable, in a sense, because and when she's going into battle with Archangel Michael and Raphael, I don't think anything can stop the Queen of Wands when she's got allies like that. And we can see ourselves entering into the time, rightly so, of the Emperor. Well, the Emperor is the prefrontal cortex. We think of it as the prefrontal cortex, which is also the location of the third eye. And it is associated with the ability to, in meditation, to put your own ego aside, HCRV, and accept things as they are. It is reason without emotion. The Emperor. So we're entering into a time in the country and in our own lives where, because of our ability to do the work, see the strength, and because of who our allies are, we can now come out of fantasy and accept the truth of what is happening in our country, what's happening globally, etc. We're entering also into the time of the Six of Wands. And as you know, I read wands literally as months. Some readers do that. And the reason that we choose wands to symbolize months is because in ancient times, people could tell the time with tree rings. Anyone know about that? Yeah. So if you had a tree growing and you cut it straight across and you looked at the tree rings, you would see time. You would see the time trapped in the tree ring. And not only would you be able to know the age of the tree based on those tree rings, but you would also know how each season was, whether it had drought, whether it had abundance, whether there was disease, because all of that time and information is retained in the wand. It's retained in the tree ring. And so for that reason, people would use the wands to get information about the tree rings or the information about the timeline. So we see ourselves entering into the time, Six of Wands, 6 months or 6 rings, 6 wands. We read them, they are literally timekeepers, the trees. So we're saying that within 6 months, based on this timeline of where you are right now, you are headed into a period of tremendous success over the next 6 months. Because you are dealing with the reality of your situation, you're making logical decisions, you have the emotional wherewithal to take on your life head first. You've got allies, both you know what to do to heal yourself physically, and you know what to do with to heal yourself spiritually. You've got you seek justice absolute. You're entering in with the ally Queen of Wands, Oshun in the African tradition. Right. And then you're going into battle with Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael. So from that comes your success over the next 6 months. Other people, your enemies, will fall away because they refuse to do the work and they refuse to look at the crap. And this ultimately becomes the thorn in the side of those individuals that have issues with you. And you can see your opposition is sitting in the place of the Two of Swords, which is the exact opposite of where you're at. Here, no, la, 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 la. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have a personality disorder. I'm perfect as I am. Right? No growth, no ability to look at your stuff and consider the possibility that you might have to endeavor to, at times, improve your character. It happens. Sometimes we have to go deep into meditation and we have to endeavor to improve our own character. It's called an account and a reckoning. It's a very ancient idea. And so some people can't do that. And then the hope and the fear at this time is you are afraid of your own dogma, which is exactly what you should be doing. You are afraid of getting trapped in your own facets, your own BS, that you have searched your own soul and you may have missed something. And that's very good. It's the Hierophant, it's the ethos, it's how you structure your world, and also the fear that your world is too narrow, which I think is good. There's also a card here is the outcome of fleeing like a thief, which leads me to think that many of you are getting away from people that are toxic to you because they simply can't handle the truth of reality and the truth of who you are. And so there's also a moving away from, look at this, look at the other. Look, you can't go forward when somebody refuses to admit that they have any issues. That's not a relationship. And then you wind up in a situation where I got to get the hell away from this person. I can't have a relationship with somebody that's that retracted. right? So the solution for you, unfortunately, there are people in this world that are not going to change. They will not look at their work. They're too defensive. It becomes a source of unhappiness for you if you're sitting around waiting for somebody you love and care about with a personality disorder to change. Instead, you have to pray for them, but you cannot continue to hold on to people, places, family, and friends. Look at this. Walking away refuses to do the work. Some people can't go there with you. Some people just cannot do the work that you have done. And as a result, there's some heartbreak here. Look, you flee, you have to let certain people in certain relationships go. You flee like a thief. And, but you yourself will be fine. You're entering into the time of the Six of Wands, which means that this is a time of truth and power for you. But it also means letting go of relationships and holding on to relationships where the other person simply is not able to take the relationship as far as you would like to take it because of their own fear of self-examination. And that's your reading. Oh my God. Did that help people, or did it just be like, what y'all talking about? Oh, Blue Rose. I love you, but F this. Yeah, that's exact. Thank you. That's it. I think that Blue Rose has just summarized the collective's reading today. That's pretty much it. Okay, so we're going to switch now to the large universal Rider-Waite. Again, this is a request from some of the readers because some have eye problems and eye strain, and they've asked if I would do the blitzes with the larger cards. Absolutely. I just need a blitz away order, and we'll go through the list of questions everybody had. I can find those. Okay, Debbie gave the order. Oh, good. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Pierre and Chaperver. Okay, so the first question was to look at the economy under Xi. Is it true that they are going to be completely belly up within 3.5 months? If so, what's going to happen with the revolution that's taking place inside China? Yes, we'll take a look at that first. What do you guys think? You think it's going to turn into a full-blown revolution? I don't know. People are very confused, and they feel like he walked away and went to the other side. The Communist Party in China is splitting. They believe that Xi is corrupted along with his friends, that he has taken hold of the Chinese Communist Party, and consequently, there's a reaching across the aisle of multiple people in the Communist Party, both young and old. And it looks like whose supporters could be launching a coup against Xi based on this information. I'll show it to you right now. The Chinese people are completely confused about what's going on, but this situation has to end. The others in opposition to Xi, there's a new partnership growing. Look at that. That does not bode well for Xi, does it? If this is what his opposition is doing, should Xi be nervous? Look at Xi's cards. Xi's in the clouds and things are ending. Look at his opposition. People from different views are coming across the aisle, and partnerships. The hope and fear that the truth will come out, the treasure trove of information, and it will lead to justice or legal issues. I think he was compromised and bribed. And then they're saying Xi will be replaced by a new man. Looks almost like a communist coup from within party leadership. And they will enter into a time of austerity. You can see the Four of Pentacles clearly as the outcome. Why do you think austerity card is the outcome, along with change in leadership? because they were bankrupted, so they have no choice. They have to pull back economically. Yeah. Okay, so what was the next question? So let me go back and just look, because you guys asked a bunch of great questions and I promised we'd go back. Okay, I think you guys had questions about the real estate market. Also, somebody wanted to know about the Australia real estate market with China. Yes, I would imagine because prices are inflated in Australia as well. This is all foreign money that's doing it. So if, the most logical thing I would think China would do is try to sell everything to other investors in Australia, which hopefully wouldn't cause too much of a dip. But if nobody wants to take it on, then that can be theoretically a problem. So we're going to go ahead and look at the housing market in Australia, and we'll also look at the United States. But I also want to look at Australia too, because we have people all over the world that watch the channel. I just want to see how Australia is going to be affected when China starts selling stuff off. God, can you imagine 3.5 months to collapse, and they're hiding their GDP report? And the communist leaders are trying to frickin' drag this guy out of there and expose him as compromised. And they're literally dragging the former guy out. I mean, this is wild stuff. This is some wild stuff. And scary if you're Chinese, right? Like, who are these people? I think that people are going to be able to buy houses again, and it's almost like a new wave of housing by Australian citizens is happening. First off, we have a balancing of the economy in Australia because of the way that real estate blew up with this foreign investors. You can control oil, but you can also control real estate when you buy it all up. And then if you have major investment in a company like Zillow, then if you're the underwriter, you get to control the prices, right? So we have this kind of balancing out of the prices. We also have the Australian people basically holding and not purchasing right now. They're going to wait until prices go down, the hopes and the fears, Ace of Swords, that they will be victorious. But look at this wealth card coming to Australia. That is a big chunk of money, which leads me to think that this is going to be economically beneficial for Australia. Let me do. Look at this. They're divesting of Australia. This is what I knew was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. They were going to start having to sell. I knew this was going to come up. Look at them. Dreaming. China's dreaming. They completely broke with reality. La, la, la. The other in opposition to Australia regarding the issue of China's response. They're just, to some extent, China is in denial about what has happened. There's a new beginning starting in spring of 2023 for Australia's housing market. Huge economic opportunities for Australian people within 6 months in Australia because of the new real estate boom. And it has to do with the fact that the Chinese dumped their stuff onto the market because they walked away. You can see the outcome here with the Eight of Cups. Anybody want to talk about that? So it's the same as what we got for the United States. Yeah, a huge, I would imagine some people are predicting as much. I mean, there's 100 remote viewers here. You could ask their opinion, but remote viewers are seeing in some areas as much as a 20% drop on the housing market. But go in, I always tell people, go in and check for yourself and see what you come up with. You You don't know until you go and take a look. So you can go down into the altered state using HCRV, put yourself in the shoes of the Chinese people, the Chinese businesses that are underwriters. From what I saw with that Ace of Pentacles, great opportunities here, people. We're giving you an Ace of Pentacles. And then the Eight of Cups. We're out of here. Hey, come get your condo. Another thing that they're doing, which has happened, I have a feeling this, where I live right now, is probably owned by China. They're great, by the way. The condos that are owned by the Chinese government are really, really great. Everything is taken care of. You got a community here. You got your, we're all a community. We're all paying the same price. We got an exercise area. We all get together and have our little barbecues. It's very much a community. But I predict, based on this kind of information, what's going to happen is they'll still want to own the company, and they'll still have HOA and everything else. But I think that what they're going to start doing is converting these into condos so that they can continue to control the property. Nothing will change, but you'll give them large chunks of cash. We'll say that you now own the condo. You'll pay us a monthly fee of however much to oversee the condo, and then we can get fast cash by offering you cheap opportunities to buy in. So there have been cases like that. So say you've been renting in a rent-controlled place, and the underwriters are China. They're like, hey, we'll sell you that condo for $60K. And then what happens? You're like, hey, great, I got the condo for $60K. Meanwhile, nothing's changed. You're paying the same amount, only now it's on your mortgage. Plus they've added an HOA, and they get to have $60K now to complete their real estate projects in China. So, yeah. And I know people that have taken that deal because long-term it's a good investment. It happened a lot in Hawaii. There was a huge sale that happened in, I think it was the 80s and 90s, when China needed to do that. And they owned a bunch of, well, I think it was, they own part in Waikiki hotels, I think it was. And what they did is they needed cash. And so they started calling people, hey, we'll give you that hotel room. We're converting it into a condo for $60. And they just took all the money and turned it into condos. Yeah, and then you wind up buying it. They get the money now, and then you get stuck with rising HOA. So it's also something to think about if that happens in your building. It happened in the building down the road, like in downtown Portland. I think it's already starting to happen. You can kind of check Zillow, etc. If you're looking at real estate condos, new ones coming up. I think that's why this is starting to see more condos in the market. But nothing changes. You're paying the same amount. I think if in a long-term investment, if it's in an area where the real estate has a future, then it might be a good idea. I mean, some of those Waikiki beach condos now, somebody bought for $60K is now worth $1 million. So yeah, everybody probably benefited. Yeah, crazy times, right? Condo boards. I don't know. I like it here. If that happened here, I'm on the fence because it has happened to a couple other buildings downtown. I don't know. I have to think about it. All right. So there was a question also if we could clarify. Somebody had emailed me that they were frightened. Yes, I do get people's emails about questions. Somebody had said that they were frightened by Trump's recent craziness and the fact that he was promoting some kind of civil war or something like this. I feel like people are not even showing up at his rallies anymore. I just don't see this. I see it falling apart, but let's go ahead and at the very least look at the state of his mental health. Do you think it's worse than ever, or do you think he's always been like this? Or do you think he's actually getting, well, Mary Trump says he's getting worse. We'll see. Yeah, Blue Rose, it's a nice base. They say there's like, if you're in an emerging market like Portland, Oregon, there's 75% of the people with good contracts do well on condos over time. They make a profit. But you can't just sell it after 2 years. And you want to do it when everyone's selling off, which is what's going to be happening in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months. Right, Candescent Moon, they get worse. Yeah. Jesus. I can't believe. Well, I mean, Robert Mueller is basically saying it was over before he left the White House because it's like the hare and the tortoise. And what Robert Mueller was saying is that we already had enough evidence and it was just a case of sooner or later you're going to be mine. And so the wheels of justice churn slowly, but they do churn. And so what Trump is saying is that the investigation is the source of his unhappiness. And his enemy, the enemy of Trump, who is his arch enemy number one? It's the Robert Mueller card. So in plain words, all that data collection from that was really what Mueller was doing, data collection and then transferring it to the feds. And then under Bill Barr, the investigation was depressed to such an extent that Christopher Wray, who's also under criminal investigation, we found out, because they want to understand how and why the FBI was suppressing this. And Christopher Wray's argument was, my hands were tied by the Justice Department. So we get the worst part of this for Trump. What is the worst part of Robert Mueller? Sooner or later, you're going to be mine, following into his 8th house, the guy he has the issue with. He's now reaching, his impact is now reaching across the aisle into Republican enclaves, etc. You can see the lover's card with the original investigations, etc. So it's actually gaining speed, right? So now even more stuff, more agencies, more investigations, more crimes. So fear of reason, logic, and sanity. That is the fear of Trump, the sanity issue. Take the deal. God, can you believe these cards? And then the final outcome for him, he will be financially stable. We'll give you a small stipend. You know, we're not going to take your money away, but the judgment falls against Trump. So he basically, his fear is the insanity. Yeah, he's afraid that he will be found sane. But of course that won't happen because he is not sane. He is insane. That's basically what they're saying. Yeah, so a question about long COVID. When did he get if he got COVID after he had planned it? I don't know. We can go ahead and find out. I think that's a really legitimate question. Was he planning the coup prior to getting sick? Because that's ultimately what they're going to be looking at. I can't believe we're living through this. I can't believe that we lived in these times. You know. Reaching across the aisle. There's a tremendous amount of evidence against Trump. He can certainly be convicted. I still see a deal. Family pressure, deals with family, the family has the star over them. I think it's because they made a deal. Also, you see the deal here. He's taking deals. And you can see here the prosecution's evidence against Trump is extensive, 10 of wands. That's a heavy load of stuff. And then the final outcome is they'll get a deal. Well, also the legacy card in the 8th house would indicate that they are working with Trump's kids. Which is, which again goes back to the remotes that Ivanka Trump had been speaking privately with January 6th, etc., and was basically arguing that her father was crazy. And now we're here, and now the cards are coming out, and now people are starting to say that. And so now it goes back to what you're saying, Marie, which is, what was his mental state when he was planning it, and was he planning it prior to getting COVID? And based on the cards, they're saying that he's too crazy to stand trial regardless. At this time, he's crazy. So whether or not, what kind of state he was in before is of no the guy is nuts now. They're going to want to give this guy, it looks almost to me like a house arrest or something like that with a small payment. This is the guy that lives in his relatives. Grandpa's living with us now. This is the guy that goes to live with Lara Trump and Eric, and he's got a basement apartment in their place, and he's waiting for them to call him up to have Thanksgiving dinner. The turkey's going to be ready at 4. It has that kind of feel to it. I'm sorry, but it does. I mean, this is somebody who loses everything, and he's an old man living, the only way that this person with this kind of cards is going to be allowed to be out is if he's under the protection or has adult supervision. That is basically what they're saying. So if that's where we're headed, this guy's going to wind up sleeping on Laura and Eric's Trump by the end of it, Trump's couch by the end of this. That's basically what they're saying. We can watch Grandpa. That's basically, yeah. All right, crazy cards. Absolutely. I couldn't believe that the children came in as his salvation. That 10 of Pentacles. And well, I mean, even if you're a bad father, even if you're a bad parent, even if you're the worst parent in the world, we love our parents, and most of us will come to the aid of our parents if they need it. And in this particular case, he really is crazy. So it's not like Ivanka and Jared also are testifying that they witnessed anything that wasn't true. So there's that. All right, I'm going to do one more for Joel. He wants to see about the future of Putin. Thanks. You reminded me what the question was. People were worried about Russian troops going into Belarus. I hear you. Because if they're invaded from the Belarus side, it's going to be really a security risk. Let's take a look. You like me on not Adderall. We've been talking about Adderall. You like me on Allegra, don't ya? Yeah, a lot less coughing. Okay. Yes, I know, Blue Rose. What are people going to do? Are they going to get involved or not? Thank you for the donations to the anti-hunger fundraiser we're doing today. It's greatly appreciated. Okay, we're entering into the time of power, which is the Magician card. So I would say we're moving closer to a treaty. You can see here power issues, and then evidence and contracts, treaties, hopes and fears that there are a lot of Russians trapped inside Ukraine. You see the circle? That's pretty much what happened to the people in Northwest Kherson. By the way, you guys are real funny. You asked me to do classic remote view to go down when prior to the new brigade going in from the northwest. I saw them mobilizing when we did CRV, and I saw them mobilizing, and they plowed very quickly using land vehicles into Kherson, headed northwest. They took a lot of land. And so when I went into the remote, I saw the land, the road, and I saw the soldiers running down into the valley, heading east, scattering to try and get away from the quickly advancing Russians. So I thought, okay, well, I know what it looks like. I should be able to locate this on Google Maps. So I went to Google Maps and I opened up Kherson, and I went to northwest Kherson, and I located the wheat field in northwest Kherson based on the CRV. And so we took the pointer and we put the pointer on the wheat field. And 5 days later in the wheat field, the Russians were caught, and it was filmed in the wheat field. So somebody had written in, amusingly had said, well, okay, CRV, HCRV works, but I mean, you didn't name the wheat field. Like, you know, kind of like it jokingly, the joke is like, if you are, you know, there are people as CRV practitioners, we do everything in our power, CRV, to use data collection effectively and to present this research to the best of our abilities in a way so that, as wacky and fun and weird it is, we feel, based on the work we do here, that we have sufficient evidence to prove that this phenomenon is real. So I think what the writer was saying, what the joke was, is that there will always be scientists, there will always be people where even in the face of solid data, if they're not comfortable with the data, whether it's proven scientifically or not, they will reject the data. So I think that that's the joke. So we have this contract coming in for an opportunity for them to salvage something. As you can see here, they've been encircled and they've put themselves in this situation. It is looking like the most likely outcome for Russia is that they will abandon the war. All right, everybody. So that is that. Oh, Camille's ex-husband. Oh, he has health concerns and issues going on from what he's told us. He's got health stuff going on. And, you know, if he has a private bout of something going on with his health, then that's the issue. He's a very fine man. He's not someone who has conflict with many people when you go into Camille's ex-husband's energy. He's not a particularly contentious man. Some issue with his health needs to be addressed. And so he should not be taking on a lot right now, DD. So that was what that was about. All right, love and light to you all. Thanks so much for your support. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, becoming members of the channel, supporting this wacky science of HCRV. If you are a student of HCRV, our classes will start again this Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's open to everyone who's a member at the Healers and Empaths level. And we're actually going to be teaching people how to scan a grid. That is what we're going to teach you: basic CRV, and then how to combine it with HCRV. It's called the magic carpet technique. And it's going to be how you're going to stand on your mat or whatnot, and then imagine that you are in, say, Ukraine or wherever, and then we're going to teach you how to put yourself there and then just scan using the physical object you're standing on. So it's a real fun technique. It works extremely well. It's the technique I used when people asked me about the Northwest Brigade and them going into the wheat field. That was the technique I used. So we're going to be teaching it on Tuesday. I know y'all wanted to learn it. Those are your students, so you will learn it. All right, thanks everyone. Stay out of trouble. I will see the students on Tuesday. Be well. Bye everyone.